anything, mate? Just put my GPS down here.
Yeah, of course you can, Graham. We're back up with John and Graham, and we're doing survey here next to a canal, which you can see there. If I pan over again, you've got with us today, we have, who is this? Name and rank, please.
Jim Bloomer.
Jim Bloomer. Hi, Jim. Well, we're here today, Jim, aren't we, to survey a col.
Yeah, we're trying to find the prominence of Kinder Scout, and this is its key col, if you like. We need to know we need to go another time to survey its summit, but this is the point. This is the col that attaches it to a higher mountain, which is Crossfell up to the north.
So we're on the outskirts of a town, aren't we?
Yeah, Barnoldswick's not far away, and this is the Leeds Liverpool canal here, and we're up here by the banks of the canal, and there's some debate about whether the col should be up here, sort of near the towpath, or whether we should be trying to imagine what was here before 1795 when they built this thing, and where the col was perhaps 5 or so metres lower.
Well, I think we're going to go down.
We're going down there next, are we?
Well, in about half an hour or so, I think we're going to take some data from where we think the natural col was or still is. But I think we've just arrived here, haven't we? And Graham and John's put out down their handheld GPSs. If I can just whiz over, and what you've got here, this is the designated point for the. Well, what should we call this? Unnatural col?
Man-made col. Whatever.
Man-made col. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next half an hour to 45 minutes. So for now, I'll close off. Well, this is the second sort of placement that we've done here, back with John, Jim and Graham. Now, if I come to John, we've already done one bit of filming in our original position, John. So what exactly have you been doing down here now?
Well, what we're looking for here is the position of what we might believe is the true col of this particular hill. Up on the first position up there, we took GPS measurements. That was some clearly man-made ground. So what we're trying to do now is move across the canal and try and locate what we believe is the true col for natural ground.
And if I just come across to this, Jim, and again, Jim, we've done the first bit of filming, haven't we? Where I think that was the unnatural ground that we decided, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So John and Graham's taking a GPS reading from there and one down here.
Yep.
And then where are we going after this one?
Well, after we've been here, we don't have a clear view of the other side. We're on the west side of the canal here, and so after this, we're going to go over to the east side, because it may just be that the contours before the canal came are different over there, and that might have been the original natural col, if you like.
Yeah. Cheers, Jim. So, Graham, that's the next plan, isn't it? To
Yeah, that's right, Moody.
go on the other side of the canal.
It is indeed. Yeah. So we're going to carry the equipment over there, and as John said, we'll take some readings over there. Then we'll be able to get an accurate height distance. John's been over there with the staff, and we think it's probably about a metre lower, but you can't actually make any measurements of meaning with the ABNY level, which is what we tried. So we now set up the GPS and get some accurate height data on both sides.
Yeah, brilliant. Many thanks. Cheers. Here's Graham and Jim. Graham's at the level, and if I pan over now, I'll go and visit John, who you can see in the background. And John's taking 3 or 4 staff placements close to the a water outlet for drainage coming out from the canal. So what John and Graham are doing now is taking various readings to get the lay of the land, because this is part of the col for a sub P500 hill, which is Kinder Scout, and this is the col for Kinder Scout, connecting it up to Crossfell. So let's go and see see how John is. So Graham's
411 659. 659. Super.
So, do you want to explain, John, what's just been happening with this little bit?
Well, what we're doing is assuming that this direction here is going up over the coal, perpendicular to the coal. So we're trying to get an idea of the slope of the land going down here. We're going to do the same process the other side of the canal, and hopefully we can join the two lines up and predict where the natural coal might have been if it's underneath the canal.
So again, you took, was it about 4 or 5 placements then?
Yeah, about 5 I think it was, yes.
Graham took the readings,
And about 15 metres between each placement.
but you also took readings on the handheld GPS for position.
Yeah, just for position, yeah. So
Yeah.
we can plot those on the graph and get back.
Lovely. Cheers, John.
Yep, okay.
Well, there's the keypad of the GPS, and we're at the col on the other side of the canal. And there's the col going off towards a church that's in the background, and it's just coming into view. I'll spin it around so you can see where the GPS is positioned. And again, we're here with Jim Bloomer. This is to work out whether Kinder Scout has prominence of 500 metres. Now there's the group, Jim, John and Graham. So I'm going to disturb them now, eating their sandwiches, and see what they have to say. Hi guys, how's the sandwiches?
Very good.
Very good. You got any?
No.
Have you got any spare?
No,
No?
I've eaten them all.
So we've come to the other side of the canal, haven't we? And would you like to just explain, Graham, what we're sort of doing on this side?
Well, we took a measurement on the far side of the canal, and we know that the coal runs through the canal, and as you're looking through the camera now, off, down behind the trees and down to our right. And the canal more or less runs across the position of the coal. So by getting a GPS reading on each side of it, we'll therefore get the height on each side, and we can determine where the coal is likely to be. Is it on just this side of the canal? Is it just on the far side of the canal, or was it most likely underneath the canal? And that's what we're going to try and determine.
Now, if it's underneath the canal, do you think we should drain it out today?
Yeah, we could drill a hole in the bank over there, and we'll wade in and we'll take another measurement on the base of the canal. That sounds like a good idea.
Well, if I come over to John, John's chewing away on his orange. I think the last little bit we filmed, John, of course, you had the staff, didn't you, taking readings going down.
Going in the opposite direction, yeah.
So
Down,
presumably will we do it here on this field?
We've set the GPS up, as you see there, away from the railway embankment to make sure we get a good signal. Then we'll pace out 15-metre line going down there for about 60 metres and take 4 staff readings to see how the level of the land is sloping down. Then
So-
we try and correlate that with the readings we took the other side.
Yeah. And how much worth of data have we been collecting?
Half an hour on each GPS position, so we've done 1.5 hours in total, 3 positions.
Yeah, good. So by the end of the day, you'll have a outline of where the natural coal goes into the canal.
We should have, well, natural coal. If the natural coal we can identify, we'll have that its position. It may be under the canal, so we'll have an estimate of that. We'll also have the position of the man-made coal.
Brilliant.
We can
Good
choose
one.
what we want after that.
Yeah, so let's just swing around the gym, because of course it's because of Jim why we're here. And
I'm just taking my hat off.
It's your fault, Jim.
well, if I pan around, Jim, and if you turn around with me, if you'd be so kind, and then we can get the embankment of the canal and the sunlight directly on you. So of course, as we said straight at the start, this is to work out whether Kinder Scout has 500 metre prominence.
Right.
And as far as your list is concerned, would that would that muck the list up a little bit or not? Or
Well, it'll mug it up in that I'd need to change it. And essentially it would divide almost all of England, if you forget the Cheviots and the Lake District and Devon, Cornwall and a bit of Shropshire. 80% of England is all cross fells in my list, whereas this will really divide it up into 2. The northern bit of England will be cross fells, and much of the Midlands and south will be Kinder Scouts, if it qualifies.
well, cheers for that, Jim. I'm going to whiz back over to John and Graham, because of course it's now sort of mid-afternoonish, I think.
We've been
Isn't
at
it?
it for hours.
I know, a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Well, here's the GPS. And if I come back over to John and Graham and disturb them again, sorry about this. Well, the good thing is, isn't it, since we last did one of the GPS surveys, that you've now got a dongle, haven't you?
Don't tell everybody.
We
about
have, yes, this is true.
Oh God!
We are now
Sorry.
have the power of
That's why I've got my
processing
hands behind my back.
And of course, well, the first question: what on earth is a dongle?
Well, we get the software like a GeoOffice, and we put it on our computer. But when it's on our computer, we can't process any data with it because there's something in the program that stops you using it. A dongle is basically a USB stick that fits into a USB port with some encryption on it, which unlocks the software and lets you use it for processing data.
So, before getting that, you had to wait for quite a while, didn't you?
To hire it about
We
once
did.
a quarter from Leica. Yeah.
And that's paying for it, isn't it? For the hire of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who's actually got it now? Is it you, John, or is it Graham?
I got it as well.
Possession at the moment.
So, presumably, when we go back to Chester, will we have time to process the data?
We may have. It depends what time we get back. It also, we have to wait 2 hours from the last data collection point before the Rynex data is put on the website to the OS.
Yeah.
I should think we'll be back by the 2 hours.
Probably will be on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it should be on.
But if I can ask John, of course, each survey you do, John, you do very detailed survey reports, don't you?
We do write everything up, yes. Yeah. So
And
we've
of
got
course-
records, yes.
The great advantage with having a dongle is that you
Well,
know.
we can rather than have to wait and 3 months, as long as 3 months for some of the reports and the data to get into and be fully reported, we can do it virtually instantly now. So reports can come out a few days after any survey we do,
And that must
with
be,
all the accurate results in them.
that must be a great help.
I will, because it keeps your mind active then and keeps you the continuity of
It
things.
gives you the
You tend to,
incentive.
otherwise you tend to forget what you've done 3 months ago.
But
Yeah.
I understand John was telling me earlier, Mervyn, that you'd offered to write this one up. Is that right?
Well, I could give it a go. It would be rather amusing how it turned out, I think. I don't know what you think about it. I think as it was being passed between the two, there'd be many red marks on it. Anyway, I think that's it for now. So cheers, John and Graham. And if I can end up with Jim. Cheers, Jim, because it's been a cracking day out. And
I really
it's,
enjoyed it.
yeah, it's been good to meet you, and be interesting to see what the process data is, and then compare it to the summit height that we know as of what's on the map.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Cheers, Jim. Thanks.
Cheers. So we had no actual filming on the top of Kinder Scout Summit. There were only 2 of us there. Our well-known cameraman couldn't quite make it. But I did want to tell you the results of the survey. First, thinking in terms of the map, yeah, the OS col is at the map. It's between 130 and 140 metres. The summit has got a height of 636. So that's what the map says. The results that we actually got from all our efforts were that the col was at 139.6 metres. Yeah. And the summit was at 636.3, agreeing with the map. So the result of those 2 readings is that the prominence of Kinder Scout is 496.6 metres. And so in terms of P500's, Kinder Scout doesn't have a prominence of 500 metres, and therefore it doesn't qualify as a P500.